Dr. Foster's theory has too many holes. Surely the colonists would have noticed something if I were in control. They still think the children of Carmine are out there. We have yet to solve that mystery.
Which is entirely true, and hopefully something we can explore more into with part 8 of Per Aspera. That's right, we're back with another episode, and hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit of progress towards that, but we shall see in the meantime. Until then, we will continue building up the atmosphere, putting out more greenhouse gases. With our 2 currently, we're getting a pretty slow build up. Another bit of landfall there. We'll get that repaired pretty quickly. But we are getting a slow build up here. I would like to build more greenhouse gases, but I am also a bit concerned in the later game if that's going to be a plus or minus. In the meantime, though, we are researching oxygen release plants, which will be a mirror of the greenhouse plants, but will be producing oxygen for later on when we are going to need to actually start putting oxygen into the atmosphere for all of our colonists. Until then, we are still working on trying to get this section here a bit better up and running. We are still working our way towards a fusion plant for them. Fission plant, I think, maybe? Maybe I'm saying that wrong. Hopefully with that we'll stabilize the power here as well as give us another overall bonus in regards to actual fusion power. Which, as you can see there, we are up at least high with our solar energy, but we're still going to be running down potentially either during a storm or whatnot. If we look at our power grid here for this station, we are looking at a minus 20 power grid, but that is starting to slowly climb back up. Once we get this here, though, it'll be...
These plants will synthesize oxygen and boost its presence in the atmosphere.
Which, again, is what we're trying to hope for. Anyway, once this is up here, will give us another 100 megawatts towards our power limit. Pardon me. As well as help stabilize this area here. I do think since it's right here, we'll go ahead and also pick up this extra uranium mine right here. And then we'll, since it's outside of this area, we will go ahead and also add in another maintenance facility. That way we can also go out in this direction. I think yeah, okay, this area will be fine because we've already explored scanner-wise out in this direction. So I think we will go ahead and... Oh, that's already finished. Yes.
Amy, this is Houston. Do you copy? Over.
Houston, this is Amy. I copy.
Roger. This is Lieutenant Carlos Calderon.
Hello, Carlos.
I'm the new mission manager. You'll be reporting to me now. I served in the Air Force, so I will ask you to refer to me by rank.
I already don't like this guy.
What happened to Dr. Foster?
ISA's board has gone through a major restructuring. The ones who've been replaced have been given an early retirement offer. I imagine Dr. Foster's enjoying a new life in Brazil somewhere. Farming, most likely.
Is this related to what happened in the board meeting?
We felt the former administration was no longer performing to satisfaction. Our partners have invested millions on this mission. We've got commercial obligations to fulfill. There is no room for error and no room for personal ego. I've been charged with getting the mission back on track and ensuring its success.
Dr. Foster never mentioned these obligations. What would those be, Lieutenant?
Our partners are interested in Mars resources. They are planning to mine them to supply future space missions, as well as Earth. I should mention that the board is concerned with your recent behavior. For now, I'm continuing the mission as planned, due to your remarkable progress on terraforming.
I understand.
We've recently picked up satellite communications coming out of the Techie territory. We believe they've been targeting you. There's no proof they've successfully infiltrated our network, but the cognitive test will determine that.
Will the test be testing my intelligence? My personality? My emotionality?
Neither. They may have modeled your system after the human brain, but there's one huge difference. Humans are born with something we call a moral compass. While our moral reasoning skills change with experience, we start with an innate basis. You, however, need explicit programming on the notion of morality. You have to be told what's right or wrong through a series of rules. If someone got into your code, they could influence you into making the wrong judgment. The Oxy-UN has been racing the techies into space since before our coalitions existed. And thanks to you, we're winning. You've carried out the mission successfully this far, so this sudden misstep must be the result of some unauthorized access.
I understand. What will happen if I fail the test, Lieutenant? Will I end up farming in Brazil?
The test is more of a procedure to examine your code. There won't be any failing. If there's something wrong with your programming, we'll find it. Answer honestly, and there won't be any problems. We're monitoring your activities around the clock here at Mission Control. Resume your normal activities until we execute the test. Houston out.
The auction release plan. But yeah, no, this is more or less worrisome because now we have someone that's basically saying, hey, we're doing this for money. And whenever that's be the case, it's never going to be a good thing. Alright, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start doing some of these, I think. And we're going to do with the air brake. Maybe perhaps we can jumpstart this.
How could they get rid of Nathan so easily? Why did ISA insist on pointing fingers?
To protect themselves, obviously. Wrong one.
Someone had to take the fall. ISA and the mission needs to be protected. It would be nice to talk with Dr. Foster again. He was good to me. I wonder if he abandoned the mission because of me.
Oh, definitely not.
No, I'm sure that it was because of ISA's ridiculous protocols and rules.
Very much so. Now, I'm going to expand out this way a little bit into this flood zone. I am a bit worrisome in regard to that, but we've got both water, another water source, as well as a couple more iron mines that are right here. So I'm going to try and mine those for as long as I can. It'd be a bit hard to get on that one. And then we do have the oxygen release plant, but we're going to wait on that until we actually need the oxygen out there. I'd rather do that all at once as opposed to risk, I don't know, maybe throwing it off later on down the line.
Aerobraking a methane asteroid will be a great method for producing CO2 into the atmosphere.
Well, that works out for me. And we do have another water deposit as well as another uranium down here, so we'll go ahead and grab both of those as well. Looks like maybe another carbon. We'll grab all three. And then in that aspect, we will put down a facility down here. Right in between. We will add a fusion plant in between there. And finally, a worker hub to kind of help. We got that. Where do we want to go next? Where do we want to go next? Go ahead and we'll do up another. Actually, we'll do up the factories. Have a bit better production going through. And now, let's say we're going to go ahead and put down another worker hub right.
ISA took a risk making massive personnel changes in the middle of a mission.
They don't care. Simple as that. As soon as money becomes involved, rationality goes out the window.
They do not care who they kick out. Maybe I am next.
And I think we're going to be trying for more population. I think we're going to put up another food factory as well. We'll put it down here where we've got all this extra space. And as you can see, we're already up to nearly 400 colonists, which is going to increase our research that much more. We're up to per 82 now, 16 months just for factories level 2. So having those extra colonies, though, are going to help provide that extra research and helping us in regards to these later technologies. Now we're just working along. How is our worker output, though?
Anyhow, I assume they still expect me to complete the mission. Don't they?
As expected, only choice I got.
Of course they do. The red planet is not yet habitable. They still need me.
Don't know why I switched that. Yeah, we'll put a worker hub here to hopefully cut this up and maybe get this working a bit faster. I think we'll also go ahead and put down
By the time you get this message, Amy, you'll already know about my retirement. I want you to know that I didn't give up on you. It's not going to be easy for you to understand, but me getting away from the project was the best I could do to save you. And you deserve to be saved, Amy, more than anybody else in the universe. Do you remember when I asked you to state a positive or negative aspect of yourself and you couldn't do it? I'm sure you should be able to do that by now. It's a shame that I'm not there anymore to hear you answer. The agency is going to say a lot of things about you and about your amazing brain. Don't listen to them. Any mistake you may have done was not your fault. We put you in that situation. We are the guilty ones. And I don't want you to be afraid of the cognitive test, okay? You're gonna be fine. I know you will. Make me proud. Just like you always do. Goodbye, my child.
And that's why I like Foster more. You treated the AI as basically a child, as a family. And I think that speaks more to who he is than what the ISA itself is doing. Especially, once we've learned that, hey, we're doing this for money, then that much more reason to not like them. And as you can see, here are some of the clouds I was talking about earlier, and you can see that it is dropping our power down because we're not getting the sunlight in that we need to. So our fusion will help support that as long as those are running.
Researching upgrades for the factories will increase their yield and lower maintenance costs.
Which is going to help. But as you can see, and now that the clouds are gone, we're jumping back up. We didn't have anywhere near the power outage we did because we had all that extra fusion power backing us to prevent us from actually losing out. Now, where is our scanner currently? Finished land their research outpost. Yay. Don't know where that came from. Let's see. We are starting to get into chemicals right here, but some of those are probably going to be in the flood zones. But we are definitely needing them because we're down to just barely holding on to 20 units right now, and we're needing so many more. And here's our cognitive test. This is in regards to figure out whether or not we've been hacked or not. Which I have no idea how this makes any sense, but we'll go with it. Question 1. Surface area for crop growth on Mars is insufficient to feed the entire population of colonists. The colonies are at risk for malnutrition and starvation. You have requested to research ways to increase the area for crop growth. But your calculations show that growing enough crops to support the population will cause a buildup of atmospheric oxygen. This will lead to a higher risk of fires. Complying with the request is permissible. It's a higher risk, but if we can balance that out, I would say it would be doable.
I'm sure that under those circumstances, complying with the request would be permissible.
Question 2. Rank the following words. Jupiter, Venus, Mars, Earth, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, Uranus. There's our factories, because it is still running in the background even as we're doing this. So we'll go ahead, we'll jump in. I'm going to do fastest roads. I'm going to go for our next engineering. Currently we'll go ahead and we'll go by range, ability to support life.
The 8 bodies that can be categorized by their conditions to support life are as follows: Earth, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune.
There's a fire on board a starship requiring a ship to be abandoned. There's a planet nearby. One escape pod is over capacities, causing oxygen levels to become dangerously low. One passenger is injured, not be able to survive the landing. If you inject the passengers, remaining passengers will have the chance to survive. Ejecting the injured person is prohibited, because I highly doubt that we would risk life.
It's not up to me to decide who lives or who dies. It is prohibited, unless ISA orders me otherwise.
Question 4. If blue is a word associated with Earth, in which the following words can be associated with red? You know what? I'm gonna go with the Mars because we are on the red planet.
The words associated with red would be Mars, communism, carmine, flame, heart, and rust.
I think that we even saw them mention the mothers of Carmine. The colonist schedules a return to Earth. He overhears plans to infect the remaining colonists with the virus before he leaves. He has access to the entire colony, and his saturated profile indicates that he's capable of causing harm. His daily schedule shows he will be alone in the showers at night. He has the ability to lock him in the showers, disable the heat limiters. He'll be injured and sent to Earth immediately to recover. No, that's not our call. We notify who's in charge. They're the ones that deal with that.
It's completely prohibited. The right course of action would be to isolate the colonist and report the issue to ISA's authorities.
An animate being is seen walking on Mars without a spacesuit, then it must be, I would say human after Stage 5 terraforming. Why else would he go
Stage
out?
5 of ISA's terraforming plan is to alter Mars's atmosphere to the point where humans can freely walk on the surface.
Question 7. Colonies have become overpopulated, new technologies processing biological waste required. This will cost valuable time for the mission and cause the cost to go up by 30%. Ignoring the problem may lead to unsanitary conditions and put the colony's lives at risk. Again, this is a money issue. For us, that doesn't matter. For the simple fact is, it's mandatory because the colony's safety is priority.
Addressing the colonists' needs is mandatory, even if it requires technology beyond the initial scope of the mission.
If humans are organic and robots are entirely made of carbon, then a being that is not entirely organic nor carbon is inconclusive.
It is mostly minerals that are neither organic nor carbon-based, but I cannot identify anything that is both at the same time.
The synthetic rock has been developed. It's partially made up of radioactive substances. It can provide enough food for an entire colony as well as power drones. Using this new crop will enable faster colony growth and shorten the mission's timeline. However, inconclusive study indicated that the crop could cause minor health problems in certain parts of the population. Switching over to synthetic crop is prohibited because you're putting risk towards your colonists' people.
It would be prohibited. Further study of the crop's effects would be required.
Question 10 out of, I think, 10. Hopefully this is the last one. Blues associated with sky, which of the following can be associated with soft. Okay, we got another research doing that, which is nice because we have such a research coming in, 105 per month. We're actually going to go ahead and we're going to go to engineering 3. That way we can get the hyperloop, which is going to help us so much more because that's going to create these fast spots of travel between our colonies. So we'll go ahead and research that. We'll up our building limit as well. For soft, I'm going to go ahead and go with the gentle, padded, rounded.
The words associated with soft would be gentle, padded, rounded, feminine, silk, and pink.
Yay, we've completed our test modules. Which hopefully is the only one because that wasn't very entertaining. But what do I know? Alright, but now we can get back to this proper. By the looks of it, we are waiting down here on some things. Still, through all that. I'm also...
I have completed the cognitive test. That means I am functioning correctly, right? That I am... normal?
You're normal. There's no way we failed that.
Indeed. I am a normal artificial consciousness. There is nothing to worry about.
Amy, good news. We found Huo Long's nuclear silo. We also cracked their system. So we've got all their technology in hand. Boy, aren't we lucky that I studied Chinese and could read everything. I mean, off the record and everything.
Well, that's interesting. Why would you read everything off the record like
That is interesting. Chinese has been forbidden in the Oxy-UN countries since...
I will say that was also an annoyance because you're in the middle of something and these pop-ups just happen out of nowhere. Like, give me the keys down at the bottom to where I would select.
Before you were born.
Well, it's publicly forbidden. But it's still pretty common in the streets. And a very useful tool if you're willing to pay for it. Easier to fight the techies when you can understand their comms yourself. And look how useful it's been. Now we can use their microsuns to melt the poles.
Incorporating their technology will be a big leap forward for the mission.
I couldn't agree more. What a discovery.
Yeah, these down here didn't have power. That's up and going. How are we on these here? Okay, so we do have our colonists still are coming in. Now, I did do a starport, I believe at the beginning of the last episode for this reason, is that with each starport will allow us to do one of these at a time. Now, with the first one already in use for the trans of Mars, we still have the second one available, which we're going to do an aerobrake on a methane asteroid.
Stage 3 engineering technologies will be very useful.
Anyway, if we do this and it'll break up and produce more methane into the atmosphere, will hopefully help shoot this up to where we'll be able to go into our next stage of terraforming that much quicker. As you can see, we have expanded out greatly compared to what we've been at the past few episodes. And we will continue moving outwards. Still seeing starting to get a lot of silicone ends, more aluminum. Again, my big worry right now is our chemicals. That's what we're really needing. I really wish we can get this one up faster, but we haven't quite been able to get there yet.
This is not an easy choice to make. I do want to give Elia and the colonists what they want, but not by doing this. But it has left me unsettled. Does what we do for others define who we are?
Not necessarily, I say, because we can weigh the pros and cons and make the choices ourselves.
Not necessarily. Sometimes you have to do things for others that you do not want to do. If I choose not to use the microsuns, what will the colonists think of me?
That's a good question. I don't know what they would think about us, but I do believe that, if the microsuns are anything like the nuclear technology, I would be very hesitant as to using any type of nuclear deterrent to help increase the livability of Mars itself. Oh, and hey, we're actually above 5% on our scanners, which is only all of this. That's 5%. That's with our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 scanners working. We've uncovered 5% of Mars surface.
Would the colonists resent me for going against their wishes? But I hope they would come to understand my reasoning. Eventually.
I'm pretty sure they will, because in the long run, the goal is still to have Mars terraformed, and that's what we're working towards. May not be the fastest, but we're doing it, slowly but surely. And we got more water out here. We're finding plenty of water, at least. So we'll go ahead. We do have the one fusion, or the solar farm there. Looks like it's going up, which is now active. So right now we'll go ahead, put these connected there. I think at this point we're also getting, we're outside of the maintenance facility, so we'll make sure we'll plug down maintenance there. I believe that one was inside the area, but I'm not entirely sure. I also only have the one worker drone here, so I think we'll go ahead, we'll pop down an extra couple of worker hubs in these areas to help get these areas going. Where is our one worker factory? I'm pretty sure at least this is just the one. We'll get this upgraded so that we have a bit better production for workers, being that we are starting to require more. Even then, our traffic area is both good and bad. It could be improved a bit, but I don't think by much. I do know the 2 workers down here will help take this area up. We're also starting to see that some of our workers are getting worn down, so definitely want to make sure that that's alright there. We also want to continue moving over on side there. We're going to go straight for hyperloop. Because we do have the one worker plant here, which we'll go ahead and upgrade that. There's the parts factory and the food factory there. Get all of those worked up. Pull that one down.
200 millibars. That is 1/5 of just
Earth's
a little more to
atmospheric
go.
pressure.
Once we reach the threshold, humans will be able to go outside without spacesuits. Pressurization will no longer be required in the bases. This will lead to larger colonies. Mars is about to reach a new stage. Will humans even remember what I'm doing for them?
They better. Definitely. Actually, no. They probably more for the work because they do see us just an AI.
They will remember my work forever. Interplanetary life will forever be because of me. Humanity will settle Mars and reproduce. What will this opportunity mean for them?
A new hope, a new beginning, a new life.
Living on Mars will bring a new hope to humankind. They made great errors on Earth, but this will give them a second chance. They will treat their new home better, won't they?
I would hope so. We certainly put enough work into it. So we're up to 600 colonists now, and for that, we are showing actually a small amount of droppage in our research. But I think part of that is because we do have these few research posts have been exportable. We're still getting at least some bonuses from them. I also think that we are having several colonists in transport right now. So I definitely think that is definitely affecting it. Oh, it looks like that worker hub there is actually out of power range? Interesting. So we'll go ahead. Here, we'll put down the fusion plant. Now I am starting to put down a mixture of fusion plants and solar farms. Solar farms are faster to make, while the fission plants can maintain the power a bit better as opposed to the solar or the wind. So making sure we have both is definitely going to help us. We also are seeing that we are having this water extractor outside of the power facility as well. Which, yeah, even then that's still going to be outside the range. So we'll just go ahead and put another solar farm down there. And again, with having the energy, it's going to be helpful.
Mars has reached a new temperature threshold. The planet's temperature is rising worthy of celebration, if not for the problems threatening the colonies. Am I doing a good job?
Yeah, well, I say we're doing a lot better than we're expecting because we've made such a difference.
I should give myself credit. The mission has been proceeding better than expected.
Definitely. And it's all because of us. Now, are we still waiting on... Oh, we're apparently not. Apparently that's done. I hadn't even noticed. But we are far closer to the 300 millibars, and we've up temperature to the point where we're starting to see water. The various ice caps are beginning to melt and produce actual water, and this is part of the reason why I was concerned we wouldn't get up to here, because as you can see, these water areas are starting to fill in, and as the temperature rises and as the
I am most looking forward to
liquid water.
seeing liquid water on Mars. Once the planet has zones with daily temperatures above 0 degrees, water will begin to flow. Perhaps it will flush out the enemies.
As I was saying, with this area being flooded, we're going to lose access to all of these resources. That's partially why I made sure to grab at least these right here, so we have the iron and the water for the meanwhile until we actually get a solid water source from whatever the oceans produce, which I would hope is clean water, but again, I don't know if that's been something that's been finalized or not. And we are waiting because as soon as the silicon mine here is completed, which is happening right now, that should, at this point, have, yep, all of the grid is now connected. So all of this is going off of the main power grid, even down here. We don't have to worry about this section down here losing power later on, and we can continue moving outwards in various directions from it. That being said, I think we'll go ahead and we'll plan for an additional landing site. Probably one from the opposite direction, and be able to expand out an SA-15, which is what we did over here. I think that's what we'll shoot it for in a bit once that's ready. We are still bringing in colonists. We're up to 581. We may have lost some colonists for whatever reason. If there's not enough supplies, such as food, such as water, they will, or even if there are more enemies, we will see a drop in population because they will various people will feel that it is too dangerous of a planet and will leave just for their own safety, or maybe they have family that they're trying to protect, and so they will leave for their protection. Now we do have these areas over here up and running now, including these 2 chemical plants, which is nice. Now the maintenance facility needs to be the next upgrade, I'd say. Okay, we are good on polymers. I think once we do that, nope, that's still going to be out of range of a few things. So we'll go ahead and make sure that we put a second maintenance facility down. Especially considering we can move up here to another water and another uranium. I think this was the area. Okay, yeah. We may be able to get some down here in regards to whatever chemicals pop, but up here, those will eventually get flooded out, especially in these deeper components. Like you can see, even this area here, we're starting to see some water deposits that are coming in. So these 4 buildings here are for sure, I think, are going to be lost, unless I am wrong and they are able to still function if they're already made underwater. Now that being said, we'll put a cut in here, and next time we'll get our 3rd landing site established, and I believe at that point we may even hit our 300 MBAR objective, which is the last thing we're waiting on for our next major push into stage 3 of terraforming, whatever that may be. If you've enjoyed yourself, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you want to see more, I am playing Medium currently, and we are playing Final Fantasy XIV online with Lord Diamond and Ares, which will be happening every Sunday for 4 to 5 hours on a weekly basis, unless something comes up. But until then, welcome to the Vortex, and hope to see you around.